I looked at his back in a trance. This familiar scene happened in my previous life. At that time, my face was red, and I was ashamed and angry. I took the risk of stripping naked and sending myself to bed, but Shun Hushur had no feelings for me. I was also angry that he was cold-blooded and heartless, and even wanted to snatch away the son I raised with great difficulty. A divorce? But if Ruing is with me, at worst, I won't date in the future. I cried and shouted. I didn't expect that in the end, Shun Hushur would look down on me because of this kind of thing. Shun Hushur turned around and gently wiped away the tears and snot bubbles on my face. Jiang Ning, stop it. If you are like this, how can I let you and your mother go? He is always like this, ruthless and warm. I hate his coldness and arrogance, but I can't give up his gentle side. I cried even more loudly. He shook his head helplessly and sighed. Ning Ning, why don't you believe it? Whether there is such a thing or not, it will not affect my feelings for you. I don't believe it, but when I met Shun Hushur's clear and sincere eyes, I couldn't help but wonder if I really asked too much. There are hundreds of people, and Shun Hushur, who is like a flower on the mountain, may really not like this. Forget it. With Ruing, I really don't want to find another one. It's better to live a good life with Shun Hushur. At least his face is pleasing to me. Thinking of this, my thoughts of divorce gradually faded. So I grabbed his collar fiercely. My eyes were about to burst, and I warned him word by word. Shun Hushur, from now on, you'd better pray that I don't find out that you have a little lover outside. He was stunned, and then laughed and cried. You hurry up, I said seriously. Okay. If I betray you, let me be ruined and leave the house. Okay. I burst into laughter. It doesn't matter if I leave the house. Everyone knows that Shun Hushur is a genius in the financial circle and the youngest professor. He is a modest gentleman with good character, and he cares most about his personal reputation. The storm is over. He pointed at the sexy steward's outfit on me, shook his head gently, and didn't agree with it. I jumped onto the bed in a panic and got into the quilt, blushing so much that I felt like I was burning. Actually, I haven't thought about what to do. I'm just curious and want to try it out. Shun's deep eye sockets had a faint smile. I understand. What do you know? I muttered while pinching the corner of the quilt. He suddenly leaned over and whispered to me. I understand. Ruing Ning is very simple, right? I shrieked, shrank into the quilt, and kept shouting for him to leave. The door was closed gently with a click. My restless heart was completely shut up, but I still had the illusion that such a good Shun Hushur would fall in love with me one day. But it wasn't until I was old and lying on the hospital bed when he came to visit me, silver-haired, elegant, and confident, that I realized that I was wrong. I was so wrong. Before I died, I looked at Shun Hushur. I can no longer lie to myself that I have failed in this life. I am a completely pitiful person. He held my hand, shed tears, and agreed. You deceived me so much. I shed turbid tears and humiliation. If there is an afterlife, I absolutely don't want to live such a life. Fortunately, God has mercy on me and really gave me a chance to start over. Okay, the divorce ring is yours. I got up and said lightly. Shun Hushur's proud back stiffened, and he slowly turned around and frowned. Ning Ning, stop it. Ring has a professor father, and his future will not be bad. He frowned slightly, sizing me up, and then came over and gently embraced me. Ning Ning, Ru Jing is your son. I know how much effort you have put in. I won't snatch him from you. Professor Shun is wrong. I am still a big girl. How can I have a son? I hope you can help me clarify it. After the divorce, I pushed him away and sneered. In the last life, for the sake of Shun Hushur's reputation, I lived as a widow all my life. I also tacitly agreed that Shun Rujing, who is adopted, was our biological son. It was so that one day this false family happiness could become real. Even in the long and boring marriage, after failing to warm up Shun Hushur, I slowly put my efforts into cultivating Shun Rujing as a new sustenance. But I didn't expect Shun Hushur and his son to be so cruel. He cheated me out of my pants, and he wanted to eat my flesh and drink my blood. I will remember this even when I die. In my previous life, after I knew about Liu Ying's existence, I called Shin Rujing into the ICU alone and gave him many instructions. He was told to complete the divorce procedures between Shen Hushi and me before I died. I wanted to draw a clear line between me and him before I left. I didn't want to be his original wife after I died. I thought it was dirty. I thought that this son, whom I raised and cultivated, would understand me and fulfill my last wish. I grabbed his hand with force and hope. In addition, Ring, you must cremate me with your own hands and bury me in the Jiang family's ancestral tomb. Mom, you are so sick. Don't think too much. Shen Rujing listened silently, looking embarrassed. Whether it's divorce or not, let Dad handle your funeral. It will only make outsiders laugh at our family. I widened my eyes. He looked at me helplessly, as if he was looking at a willful and naughty child. Dad and Aunt Lu are both this age. They want to be with their loved ones in their last moments. You let them put an end to their regrets. After all, because of you, they have wasted their lives. Shun, is this still my son? I don't believe it. So I opened my eyes wide and looked carefully. In middle age, he also wore gold-rimmed glasses elegantly, like Shen Hushi when he was young. The eyebrows and eyes of the two looked more and more alike. In the cold and warm, there was a hint of boldness. Perhaps it was a last moment of light, and a ridiculous and bold idea suddenly emerged in my mind. Ring you. I panted violently. What's wrong with this? It turns out, the son he had with his lover is so big the instrument connected to my body squeaked sharply. Shin Ruing stood up in panic and wanted to call a doctor, but it was Liu Yanjing and Shin Hushi who pushed the door in. Mom, what are you doing here? He turned his head and called subconsciously. He called so naturally and familiarly. Liu Yanjing walked straight towards me, regardless of the father and son's obstruction. She sat down beside my bed, took my skinny hand, and said slowly, Jiangning, I know you have a lot of questions. You have trained so well. I must say thank you in person. Yanjing, my eyes wandered on the faces of the three people. So that's it. Wanjing stroked his white temples and said condescendingly, You have been a good person all your life, so there is no need to make everyone look bad at this time, right? Shen Ring stammered and lowered his head, agreeing. Mom, please also consider your son. Next month is my promotion evaluation. Shinashi looked away guiltily. The man who had been upright all his life did not dare to look me in the eye at this moment. Good. You are so nice. After a long time, I reacted and pounded the bed with a miserable laugh. I, Jiangning, have been making wedding clothes for others from beginning to end in my life. Even my death was manipulated by others. My death was silent, and my life in form. Asian was deliberately concealed. The public only remembers that Shan Hushi, a famous financial master, reunited with his first love after his wife died. This couple, who had been separated for 60 years, finally tied the knot in the last stage of their lives without any regrets, and their time was not in vain. The whole world was cheering and jumping for joy for them, and I, who accompanied Shushi all his life and dedicated my life to him, was just a first wife who was mentioned in their love story without even leaving my name. Occasionally, someone mentioned me, saying that it was me who almost made them miss their lives. After hearing that I agreed to divorce, Shinashi said the same words as in the previous life. Ning, why don't you believe it? Whether there is such a thing or not, it will not affect my feelings for you. TSK, I believed your grandmother's evil. My indifference gave Shushi a headache. Ning, divorce is not a joke. We don't make a decision when we are angry. He turned and left, treating me coldly. Anyway, I would figure it out in the end. At 4:30 in the morning, my alarm clock rang. I smeared and turned it off, deleted it all, and continued to sleep with my head covered. Mom, I want to eat the braised beef noodles you made. You haven't kneaded the dough yet. I'm too late. Shun Ruing knocked on my door. His IQ talent was not completely inherited from Shen Hushi, but his fussy personality and cleanliness were 100% like him. He had to eat the meals I prepared for him since he was a child. Go find your dad. I pulled the quilt over my head. He was stunned, stood for a while, and then closed the door heavily. After a good sleep, I was radiant and carefully put on makeup. I made a long-lost call. Fuan, I heard that you returned to China to start a business, and you also have a celebrity girlfriend. It seems that her surname is Liu, and her name is Luan or something. After my rebirth, I immediately investigated Luan Jing. As an idol, her information is easy to find. It is said on the internet that she will soon participate in a big-budget movie with mysterious capital behind her, and she will bring money into the group. Before I died, I heard from the nurse's gossip that Luning married Fu Yunan, a wealthy overseas businessman. Fu Yunan died of illness 3 years ago, and the couple had no children. That's easy. No one knows that when I was 12 years old, I was adopted by the Fu family for a year and called Fu Union brother because he confessed to me. I later fell in love with Shen Husher, and I was afraid of being involved with him, so I simply cut off contact with the Fu family. Who would have thought that this miss would make us the original couple of Shushi and Liu Yanjing, who died early after meeting Fu Yunan? I got straight to the point. I want a divorce. If it gets out of hand, it may ruin your girlfriend's reputation. Why don't you think about whether to support her? After that, I left all the housework behind and concentrated on painting in my bestie's gallery. I have been frustrated all my life, and I will not be able to close my eyes in death. I vent all this anger in my paintings. When Shushi found me, I was holding a multi-grid oil paint tray and a paintbrush covered in all kinds of paint, like a dirty cement craftsman. This made Shushi, who was obsessed with cleanliness, frown. Seeing that I had no intention of coming out, he had to walk in. Ning Ning, do you know Fu Yunan's withdrawal of investment in the movie Qing is related to you? Fu Yunan is indeed a businessman. He is really fast and has no hesitation. I continued to write. Why does Professor Shin also pay attention to the entertainment industry? Shushi was silent for a while. Then he replied carefully, it was the agent of the heroine of the movie who found me. This movie is very important to them. I didn't believe it. Who is Liu Yanang to you? Shan Husher was stunned, adjusted his glasses, and said helplessly, Ning Ning, I don't know her, but Shan. Husher, what do you think of this painting? I suddenly put down my pen and stepped aside. On the huge canvas, the flaming sunset illuminates the empty mountains in red. A simple woman carrying 2 heavy baskets walks on the fiery mountain road. Ning Ning, you know I don't understand painting, said Dash. My fingers stroked the basket and I said to myself, do you know what she is carrying? It's charcoal. I turned around and looked at him, smiling coldly. The sunset is about to set, and the stones under my feet will also become cold. If she is carrying charcoal, she can continue to pave the fiery road with the sunset, and it will burn endlessly. Ning Ning, charcoal can't be so heavy, and sunlight can't ignite charcoal. This is not true, so this is just a lie to deceive women. The sun must set, and the road ahead must be dark. The silly woman in the painting is me. In the previous life, I regarded Shushi as the sun I am chasing and Shin Rujing as the charcoal in the basket. The remaining hope always deceived by lies, carrying the burden forward. I looked at the painting steadily and suddenly picked up the paint bucket on the ground and splashed it heavily on the canvas. Paint splattered. The painting I had carefully painted for 3 days became a thick black curtain mourning the stupid and stubborn me in the last life. Liar. Nothing is true, just like you can never love me. I suddenly yelled, staring at him breathlessly. Please agree to divorce, Professor Shin. Don't give in. I, Jiang Ning, have never had any other choice. Shin Husher's expression was shocked, and there was a trace of fear in his surprise. Other choices? Do you mean Fuan? He asked with a trembling voice. At this moment, he seemed to finally know that my determination to divorce was real. 2 days later, Liu Yanang and her agent came directly to the door. After entering the house, she raised her neck slightly and looked around. That look was like looking down on her own. The young Liu Yanjing was indeed good-looking, but that kind of high-handed, ant-like look was exactly the same as when she was older. It can be seen how comfortable and smooth her life was. Shin Husher politely received them, sat down, and took the initiative to introduce us to each other. The professor, who used to be proud and talented, untainted by dust, was willing to be a flattering lobbyist for the sake of his beloved Mrs. Shin. What is your relationship with Yinan? Lu Yanjing sat down with reserve and looked pretentious, asking for help without forgetting to be pretentious. He once admired me. I should be his first love, white moonlight. I looked at her carefully and replied slowly. Her expression changed slightly. Shin had paused while holding the tea and looked at me. Ning Ning, why haven't I heard you say that before? A good ex should be as good as dead. I've done a good job over the years. Shin Husher, the surroundings were quiet. Only the agent was sour and hissed softly. Then why did you contact him again and make things difficult for me? Lu Yanjing was unhappy and threw the bag in her hand onto the coffee table. The metal zipper hit the glass table heavily, sharp and harsh. Oh, she really looks like a hostess. I looked at Shushi meaningfully and deliberately said, I heard that he seems to be in love. I want to see if he still misses me. If so, that's difficult. I'm speechless. Jiang Ning, you're already married. Your son is 8 years old. Lu Yanang stood up and pointed at me with her white jade finger, furious. I stood up and slapped her hand away rudely, saying coldly, What's wrong with getting married? Can't you think about your first love after getting married? Not only that, I can also make him keep his virginity for me. Are you angry? Are you bitter? Wen Jing finally realized that something was wrong. A flash of panic crossed his eyes, and he subconsciously looked at Shun Husher. The two looked at each other in doubt, and quickly looked away. The agent was confused. Mrs. Shun, how can you say that your husband and son are here? It turned out that when we were on the verge of a fight, Shin Ruing had come down from upstairs at some point and had been listening for an unknown period of time. He was full of disbelief. Mom, you like another man, so you don't care about me recently? Are you really not going to want me? Lu Yanjing was angry and glared at Shushi fiercely. Shushi hurriedly got up and coaxed the boy. Jing, your mother is just angry with me. Be obedient and go upstairs. We will take care of it. Shin Ruing ignored him and just stared at me as if waiting for me to admit it myself. I pretended not to see it and sat down lightly again. Oh, Ching. How ironic. The name was given in the first place so that you can call him Ching, openly. Ning Ning, adults' affairs should not involve children. This is not good for Jing's growth. Shin Husher coaxed his son downstairs and scolded me with a frown. How funny. He can say that adults' affairs should not involve children. Then should children's affairs involve adults? I am a good girl in my prime years. Should I pay for the forbidden fruit they tasted when they were deeply in love and be a nanny with an empty title? Lu Yanjing got up angrily. She turned around, picked up her bag, and left, bumping into Shushi's shoulder. Oh, your wife is really uneducated. She is just a superficial and low-class woman. I don't believe that Yen will really withdraw his investment for her. Let's wait and see. I smiled and said behind her, Miss Lu, I believe you. After all, everyone has a first love. If Fuan doesn't work, there will always be other suckers. As soon as the voice fell, Wen Jing almost fell at the threshold and almost ran away. I took her arm and watched her go quietly. It's a pity that her other sucker, Shushi, is still just a professor who is working hard at school. His reputation as a young and handsome man is greater than his academic achievements. He can't be relied on for the time being. Otherwise, the two of them would not have been forced to break up painfully due to reality. Jiang Ningfu's investment in Ning is a business behavior which is beneficial to him. Why do you do this? Shinji sighed, and his words were all about Lu Ying's injustice. I smiled faintly. Instead of criticizing me here, Professor Shin, why not go to the financial circle to lobby those business tycoons and help Miss Lu? His pupils behind his glasses suddenly shrank, and he subconsciously opened his lips to ask me something. Finally, he lowered his eyes, sighed, and turned away silently. I looked at his back with sarcasm. In fact, I planned this scene today to vent my anger and also to test if Sean Husher felt guilty and took the initiative to agree to divorce and give me enough compensation. Then I would still. I think he has a conscience, but it's really disappointing. He still avoided it and pretended not to know he was bound to make me a sucker and fleece me. My best friend tapped my forehead. Why go to all this trouble? Just tell them that you know Shin Rujing is their son. Shushi has to keep his face and stick with him. She disagreed with my caution, but she still didn't understand Shin Husher in his pre-life. He and Liu Yanjing had carefully concealed Shin Ring's life experience, and no news had leaked out for decades. How could he give up his reputation as a professor because of a word from me? Even if he didn't care about himself, he would definitely consider Liu Yanjing. Liu Yanjing is 27 years old this year and must transform from an idol. This big-budget movie is very important to her. It's related to whether she will become famous overnight and lay a foundation or be eliminated due to old age. There is also the scandal with Fiyun. All kinds of factors determine that she can't have any black material now. Shin Husher loves her so much. How could he not consider her? After getting Liu Yanjin's hair from Fu Yunan, the biological samples of the three of them were complete. I sent it for paternity testing without stopping. On the way back, I received a call from Shin Husher asking me to go back early tonight. He decided to talk to me about divorce, but I didn't expect that this was a Hongmen banquet. After 3 glasses of red wine, I felt uncomfortable all over, hot, and a strange desire was stirring. Shushi came to help me considerately. The silk white shirt that I picked for him was buttoned to the 3rd button. When he leaned over, his chest muscles were faintly visible. My throat was dry and tight, and I couldn't move my eyes away for a moment until he helped me to the bed and took off my coat with trembling hands. I suddenly woke up. Shin Husher, you actually drugged me. Shin Husher's body stiffened. Get out. I pointed at the door and yelled, and the discomfort of my body made my tears burst out. He was at a loss and whispered coaxingly, Ning Ning, no, you just drank a few more glasses. I've thought about it. Leighton, live a good life. Whatever you want to do, I will cooperate. I slapped him hard. Shushi, am I Jing so stupid in your eyes? I can't tell whether it's the drug or the wine. In fact, I know that if I hadn't been reborn, I wouldn't be able to tell, and I would definitely think that I had finally seen the moon through the clouds. He was willing to sacrifice himself. I was so moved that I didn't have time to suspect that there was something wrong with the wine. Who are you showing off your heroic and sacrificial appearance to? I pointed at his nose and yelled, I'm telling you, I've seen you gain weight, lose hair, have a beer belly, and look so greasy that it makes people sick. I also know how ugly you look with orange peel all over your face, old smell, age spots, and skin and flesh hanging down to your belly. You think you can get me to eat this little bit of medicine? How funny. The heat in my body. You made me talk without thinking, and my mind was confused. After yelling, I pushed him away, who was shocked and embarrassed, and rushed out of the house. It started to rain halfway, and I ran as fast as I could with the cold wind blowing on my face. I suddenly stopped while running, propped up my knees, and laughed breathlessly. Jiang Ning, you are right to yell, isn't it? Putting aside the filter of love, Shinashi decades later is really as unbearable and ugly as I said. Screw the gentleman, noble character, and talented jailing flower. After half an hour of rain, I realized that I really had a fever, so I called Fu Yun. When I woke up again, I was in the hospital with an 4 drip in my hand. Jiang Ning, what are you two doing? Fu Yunan looked unhappy and handed me his phone. It was his WeChat chat box with Luan Jing. Yunan, Jiang Ning is just angry with her husband and came to you to find a sense of existence. She is a full-time wife and doesn't know what movies are. If you really miss the old feelings, you shouldn't accompany her to fool around. Everyone in high shirt doesn't know that she loves Shushi to death. Scroll up and there is a video of more than 1 minute under the home surveillance. Shin Husher and I had a candlelight dinner and looked at each other affectionately. Then I leaned on his arms and was helped into the room by him. I smeared and returned the phone to Fu Yunan. Then I called the doctor and told him the situation. As soon as the doctor left, Fu Yunan put his hands on his waist and got angry. Ning Ning, they can't even think about this money. It's too much. Do you really think you don't have anyone to support you? I held back my tears. No, I will make them lose with conviction. Fu Yunan looked at me puzzled. My best friend, Shinhan, was on her way, bringing the animation film investment plan that we had recently rushed to work on overnight. Shen Huisher was right. Fu Yunan's investment in Luanjing was a commercial act, and he was going for money. How could I kidnap him with only a fragile childhood relationship? In this life, marriages must be divorced, and careers must be developed. In the previous life, because of Shir's cleanly, I gave up the painting that I had studied hard for 20 years and served them full-time. At that time, Chenhan invited me to be the art director for her Chinese-style animation film. I declined the opportunity, considering that Shinring was busy with schoolwork, had a full schedule of training classes, and that he and his nanny didn't get along. Now I have to be not only an art director, but also a producer. So, regardless of whether Liu Yanning is there or not, I will definitely fight for Fu Yunan's investment. At the business reception the next day, Shaney and some bigwigs in the industry he invited were lobbying Fu Yunan to continue investing in the movie A Chong. The director of A Chong was also present. I'm sorry, Director Zhou. I had decided to invest this money in Director Chen's movie NEA. Which Director Chen? Everyone looked at each other. Chainan. I entered with a smile. After a brief introduction, everyone in the room had a movie investment book. After reading it, there were actually a few people who were interested. That was natural. Chunhan's movie in his previous life became a dark horse. Now, with my rebirth, anyone who knows a little about movies knows that it is not a loss. So, no one mentioned Liu Yanjing at the scene. When had she ever been so cold-shouldered before? Her eyes immediately turned red. Jiang Ning, stop it. You dragged so many people to act with you just to be angry. It's too ridiculous. I'm afraid you won't be able to stop it. Shen Huisher frowned and scolded me in front of so many people. Then he looked at Fu Yunan and said seriously, Mr. Fu, as Yanjing's boyfriend, you should know how important the movie Destroying the City is to her. I promise to handle the matter between Jiang Ning and me and won't let her suffer any grievances. I didn't say anything, and Chunhan rolled his eyes in anger. Shen Ning has only been married to you for 6 years. Have you really forgotten how profound her attainments in art are? Fu Yunan frowned and said bluntly, Jiang Ning is not making trouble. It's you who should go back to your academic world. You don't understand the film industry. He pointed at Liu Yanjing, regardless of Shen Huisher's ugly face. Also, let me clarify one more thing. Miss L and I are just partners. Professor Shen had better make it clear before speaking. Liu Yanjing's forced smile could no longer be held back. She put down her wine glass, turned around, and left the venue quickly. Overnight, not only did she lose a big production, but she also lost a powerful sponsor. I haven't used my biggest trump card yet. I don't know whether Shen Huisher was embarrassed or felt sorry for Liu Yanjing. After a moment of hesitation, he hurriedly chased after her. Everyone cast sympathetic eyes at me. I just smiled and didn't take it to heart. On the day the paternity test report came out, Shen Huisher went home drunk. Professor Shen, who never socialized and hated the world of fame and fortune, put down all his pride for the woman he loved. But in front of me, he was cold and arrogant all his life. I stared at the words, 99.99% suspected biological father-son relationship, and my heart still couldn't help but ache. I know it's not that I still have fantasies about Shen Huisher, but I don't want to admit that my life is really worthless. The truth is just a few words, but for me, for more than 40 years, those hard days and nights, those never-ending extravagant hopes and fantasies are still corroding my nerves. When I opened the paternity test report, I still fantasized that Shenri Jing was just Liu Yanjing's son. I saw their similar eyebrows and eyes before I died, but I was just old and blurry. Now, it's completely disillusioned. Shen Huisher really doesn't love me, not a bit. In the long years, he didn't have a man's instinct for me. It would be fine if he really kept himself clean, but he is really Shunri's father. This cognition completely trampled. There was a struggle in his eyes, and he looked at me painfully. "If you mind, Ring, I will send him away and won't let you see him again. Ning Ning, don't divorce, okay? My situation is only temporary." I didn't believe a word he said. Shun Hush's greatest achievement is not finance, it's PUA, the master of kings. No one competes with him. In the previous life, the sentence, "whether there is such a thing, it will not affect my love for you," made me willing to be a widow for him for a lifetime. Now, she is trying to deceive my sympathy by saying she feels guilty about her and wants to live well with me. There is no such good thing in the world. I pulled my hand away indifferently. "Professor Shin, I give you 3 days to complete the divorce procedures with me. Otherwise, I will immediately make public this paternity test report." During these 3 days, I devoted myself to work and isolated myself from all information from the outside world. Chunhan said that Shushi waited outside the studio every day and even squatted in the parking lot just to see me. On the last day, he brought Shin Ring to beg me together. Shin Ring cried and cried until her voice was hoarse. I was as hard as a stone and did not waver. Chunhan was so tearful that he locked himself in the office and cried bitterly. In the past 6 years, I treated Shin Ring like a pearl and a treasure. Shin Ring even recognized her as his godmother. She couldn't bear to be a godmother, but I, a mother who did everything myself, could be so cruel. "Now I know you really want a divorce. I want to do something." I took a sip of the cold coffee, and it was bitter to the bottom of my heart. Chunhan didn't understand when I was old, weak, sick, and pinned all my hopes on him. He said with his cold mouth, "Dad and Aunt Lu are both this age. They want to be with their loved ones in their last moments. You let them get rid of a regret. After all, because of you, they have wasted their lives." No one knows how desperate and heartbroken I was at that time. Everyone in the world cannot understand me, even scold me and blame me. I don't blame anyone but Shin Rujing. I don't forgive him. It was he who made me really live alone in the last stage of my life, live as a completely pitiful person. When the time came, I went to the Civil Affairs Bureau as scheduled. Shushi was pale and thin, with a layer of white dead skin on his lips and dark circles under his eyes, like a person who had been ill for a long time. He fell down when the wind blew. "Chong Ning, are we really going to this point?" I pursed my lips and looked into the distance. He seemed to want to say something, but in the end, he only said, "You are right to stop the loss in time. I am really unsure about my illness. I shouldn't delay you." The staff asked him, "Have you thought it through?" There was a flash of reluctance in his eyes, and then he nodded silently. As soon as the steel seal fell, our bad fate in this life was completely ended. Whether he really didn't want to divorce me or was afraid that I would expose Shin Rujing's life experience, I don't want to pursue it anymore. When we walked out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, Fusion's sports car was parked on the opposite side of the road. Before parting, Shinashi said the last words to me. He said that Lu Yeneng was just an impulse in his youth and a thing of the past. He will take good care of Shin Ring from now on and will not have any involvement with her. That sincere and determined look seemed to be two completely different people from Shushi at the age of 80. The movie was released half a year later and was a great success. At the celebration banquet, Fuang excitedly hugged me and turned around a few times. "Ning Ning, welcome back. This is the real you. I knew you would succeed." I screamed, dizzy, and kept hitting him. "Put me down quickly. Didn't you make a lot of money?" Chunhan teased him that the investment was a great success, and he should go back to Australia. He would not be able to get the dividends. In the past 6 months, he has been with me for as long as I have been in the studio and even moved his office here. The staff laughed at him, saying that they had never seen such a serious and responsible investor. They even discussed privately whether the Fu family had gone bankrupt and relied on this investment to make a comeback. He smiled and said that he hadn't found a wife yet and he couldn't face his parents. But in the past 6 months in the glamorous entertainment industry, there was no scandal about him. Later, everyone realized that his target was me. "For your help," he said. His eyes were indifferent and calm. He was indeed not the Shun Husher who is still obsessed with the divorce. I smiled calmly. No, we should have done this a long time ago. He nodded with some emotion. I am happy to see your achievements today. Thank you, I said. Then we looked at each other in silence. This is also normal, we spent the next 10 years like this. When we were about to part, he suddenly said that he didn't know why his younger self rejected Luan Jing. Marrying his first love was obviously his regret, and he should have been eager for it. He still kept your studio and everything you left at home. Ring told me that he accidentally damaged one of your paintings and was severely punished by him. The elderly Shan Husher's eyes were confused. Jiang Ning, I was ill when I was 55 years old. The psychiatrist said that I forgot a lot of things. I don't know if it is related to this. I asked curiously. Have you ever been ill? He nodded thoughtfully. Oh, I've been seeing a psychiatrist, but I kept it from you. So he changed his signature to a new one, not because he wanted to change his style, but because of amnesia. Seeing that I hadn't come back yet, Fuan came to find me and met Shinashi. Professor Shin, happy marriage. He put his arm around my shoulder and congratulated me insincerely. Shinashi didn't get angry. He nodded and turned to leave. I was still watching his disappearing figure until he vanished. Fu Yunan was jealous, took my hand, and walked back, saying sourly, "What's so good about this old scholar? I think he looks a bit prematurely aged and lifeless." I laughed out loud. He said seriously, "Don't disbelieve it. People like him may be bald in their early 40s. Don't look at him as gentle and polite now. When he gets fat, he will be greasier than anyone else." He pounded his strong chest. Like me, I love fitness and don't worry too much. I guarantee that I can still make you crazy when I'm 80. I was amused by him and fell down with laughter. An idea also popped up in my mind. It turns out that Shun Husher really had dementia in his old age. Shun Husher got what he wanted. A year later, I also went to Australia with Fuan to meet his parents. You are so cruel. If you say you won't contact me, then don't contact me. Even if we are married. We are still your family. Aunt Fu hugged me and cried. Fuan returned home and had a backer. He changed his low-key attitude when pursuing me in China. That's right. This time when she returned to China, she was smart and knew to contact me to help her vent her anger. Otherwise, I would definitely ignore her. TSK. Who doesn't have a temper? He said arrogantly. Aunt Fu didn't know whether to laugh or cry and explained to me. Don't believe him. He obviously went back to see if you were doing well. What if you were doing well? I asked. Fuan's face darkened, and he gritted his teeth. I know you avoid me like a snake and scorpion. If you live well, I will never appear in front of you and bother you. I looked at him quietly until my eyes were red. I couldn't hold it anymore and hurried over to comfort him. It's my fault. I mean, I deserve to be beaten. I cried, rushed to hug him, and cried loudly. In the previous life, he must have come to see me, seeing that I loved Shushi so much. I devoted myself to my family and son, gave up my paintings and future, and was happy with it. So he quietly returned to Australia, cooperated with me, and didn't disturb me. After confirming the relationship with Fuan, I returned to China. Chunhan was planning to shoot a new movie, and I needed to go back to cooperate with her in the preparatory work. After the meeting, we had a cup of coffee. She told me that during the few months I was in Australia, Shushi and Liu Yanjing's married life was in turmoil. She gloated over the misfortune. We all know how difficult it is to serve. Ring and Luning is a young lady who never touches the water of women. I can almost imagine it. Shin Ring, who is fussy and a clean freak and doesn't like outsiders in the house. Liu Yanjing, who is as proud as a little princess and doesn't do housework, and Shinashi, who is obsessed with research, likes quietness, and has nothing to do with food and clothes. What kind of life will such a family of 3 live? Chunhan pounded the table and laughed. You don't know, now all the teachers and students in the university know that Shushi is not good in that aspect. Liu Yanjing became a widow just after getting married, and she was furious and didn't want to save face for him at all. Shun Husher, a flower of the high mountain, was pulled down from the altar in an instant. It's so funny. I just smiled faintly when I heard it. Chunhan also said that when the two quarreled, Shun Hushi sighed and said that Liu Yanjing couldn't compare with me. Liu Yanjing was naturally dissatisfied, so he slowly and clearly listed dozens of my advantages. Liu Yanjing was so angry that he didn't go home for half a month. Now, everyone is guessing when the two will divorce. A man who was busy dealing with official business overseas heard that Shushi was not good enough, and he shouted with joy and hurriedly called me to verify. I ignored it. After the film was finished, Liu Yanjing found me. She was tortured to the point of no longer having the glory of the past. As soon as she sat down, she threw a divorce certificate at me. Jiang Ning, you did it on purpose. Raising the father and son to be so picky, are you trying to get revenge on me? I gently stirred the coffee. I take such good care of your son, and you have this attitude? She choked. You are so hardworking and uncomplaining. Just live a good life with them. Why do you come to mess up my life? If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be in this situation today. Do you love Shinashi? I asked. She said irritably, I love Fuan. Shinashi and I can't live together at all. I understand love or not. For her and Hushi, it is a choice. At the moment, they are both equally selfish, and they only love themselves the most. If they love each other, why can they endure half a century of no contact, miss and live their own marriages with peace of mind? If they don't love each other, why do they reunite by coincidence when their original wives die, like a couple in love wishing to stay together forever? Now I understand they haven't been in contact with each other for decades because there are people around them who carry the burden for them. They are reluctant to give up this kind of welfare and convenience. They reunite and continue their previous relationship only because they are lonely and have no one to accompany them. When there is no other better choice, they are the best combination for the elderly. Shun Hushi, after being reborn, married his first love as he wished when he was young. But in the end, what he couldn't forget for a long time was me, his ex-wife who was betrayed by him. Shun Hushi fell ill, and he strongly asked me to visit him. Jiang Ning, I'm leaving. He tried to open his eyes and look at me, stretching out his hand to me tremblingly. I sat on the bed and looked at him quietly. I remember, did I promise you that except for that kind of thing, I would give you the greatest honor as a wife and would only have you in this life and would never betray you? Yes, you said. I didn't avoid it. He lowered his eyes sadly, but I forgot I have another woman and I got married again, so this is my retribution. I didn't respond. He slowly closed his eyes and fell into a coma with a high fever. I know that the old Shun Hushi has gone. He couldn't merge with his younger self. He had a smooth life, and his family and career were both successful, but he was only worried about his first love, Luning, who had hurt him. But if I really go back to my youth, I can make up for my regrets. I also find that the perfect patch is uglier and more unbearable than the regrets. He can't accept this situation, or he is too ashamed to face me again for various reasons. I don't care. Shun Hushi, who woke up again, looked at me for a long time like a lost child with red eyes. He seemed to react and came back. He grabbed my hand and said anxiously, Ning Ning, I am not him. I love you. I never thought of betraying you. He said incoherently, You are too good to that old guy. You spoil him too much. He has never experienced the pain of losing you. I am not. I love you. After so many things, I know clearly that I love you. Give me a chance. I will definitely change. I pulled my hand out and shook my head. Sure, this is you. You can't change it. Your personality determines that you don't have the ability to identify and grasp the beauty. You regard the love of others as a manifestation of weakness. So when he was doing well, he looked down on me, ignored me, and was high above me like my God. But if I really left, you would be afraid, so he bullied me. And now he is humble again. Did he really win in the last life? Now I know that he didn't. His best time was not spent with the one he loved. He could have lived a hot and passionate life with me, but he didn't grasp it. I looked at his back in a trance. I'm out. I was relieved because, no matter who he married, it would be a waste of time. No matter how many times he was reborn, He was destined to miss happiness. And I, with a clear conscience, still have a bright and brilliant future. Old Miss Jing from my previous life, I want to reconcile with you. Then I said goodbye. After leaving the hospital, I took out my cell phone and called Fu Unanimous. I miss you. I couldn't wait to start my new life.